Hi everyone, welcome back to Talking GPA. I'm your host Amy, and for today's episode, we have a very special guest. We have Dannie. Hi, Dannie.
Hi.
So, we're just gonna go right into it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, did you know what you were gonna do right after high school?
I know what I wanted to do,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't do it.
What was it? What was it?
I wanted to go into film directing.
Oh.
Yeah, I really loved films. And so I've always kind of like loved directing.
Yeah.
So that I put it together. And I had applied to ASU and I got into their film program,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't end up going.
Why?
A lot of things.
Oh.
Monies
I
was
see.
the biggest
Yeah.
one. And honestly, I think my mom was really adamant that I had to stay and do my generals here,
Mm-hmm.
which was like the best decision that I did.
Yeah.
But at the time I hated it. So,
Oh.
but I did my generals at AWC and then I transferred. But by that time I had already changed like what I wanted to do.
And what did you change it to?
To teaching.
Just teaching in general?
So I was gonna be a nurse. It's a long. Oh gosh.
Okay, you need to tell the story.
Okay. So I really loved film directing, and so that was like my mind was set on it. But I had to do my generals, and there really wasn't like a film degree.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I didn't want to do TV production because that was more, and at that time was more like radio too.
Mm-hmm.
At AWC. And I'm like, okay, that's not for me. Like, it was very much advertised as, like, news production. More than, like, this is how you use a camera and things like that. So I was like, okay, that's kind of not what I want to do. So my mom was super adamant I needed to get a job or a career that would, like, sustain me.
No, that's such, like, a universal
right?
experience.
And it's like, she didn't really think, okay, I'm going to be honest. Sorry, Mom. But she really didn't believe I could do it. So,
yeah.
So she was like, no, like, let's, like, think about this. And what do you really, like, what do you want to do that will make you money?
Yeah.
And she was a nurse at the time. So, or she's still a nurse. So she told me, okay, well, why don't you just go to nursing? It's really good money. You only work, like 3 days out of the week. And I was like, okay, sure.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started doing all my generals for nursing. And I had done theater in high school and I really loved it. So I knew I wanted to keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of started like dabbling in theater at AWC.
Mm-hmm.
And Chip Straley was the professor at the time. And I just feel like he was like taking all of these misfits that were like, yeah, we love theater, but no, we can't do it.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you can. So he convinced me to just double major. He's like, well, while you're trying to figure it out, do nursing and also do theater. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. So then I did theater at AWC, and then I started doing theater with Yuma Community Theater right off the bat too.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like I was doing a lot more theater than I was like for my actual major.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was just doing the major just to like make my mom happy.
Yeah.
And it finally got to the point where like, okay, I'm done with my generals. I have to do the application for nursing. Like, is this really what I want to do? And I decided, no, it's not. So I'm like, I can't be a nurse. I, first of all, I care for people, but I don't want to care for people.
Do the caring.
Yeah. Like, I can care from afar. That sounds so bad.
I can care here.
Yes. Not like...
No.
So yeah, I just felt like I wasn't the personality for a nurse. And at the same time, I had finished my theater degree.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, okay, what do I really want to do now?
So you finished both of them?
I finished my theater degree. I didn't finish the nursing one because I didn't do the actual program.
Got it.
So like at AWC, you do the generals, which is usually for like nursing. You like do a year and a half of generals, and then you have to do like all this testing and blah 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 to get into the program, and then the program is another 2 years.
Oh.
And then you get your associates in nursing, and you can start working. So I had finished all of the prerequisites to get into nursing at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, okay, well, I really don't want to be a nurse. What can I do? I felt like at that time, a lot of pressure, because a lot of the people I went to high school were already like halfway through their bachelor's. They were at university. I just felt kind of stuck. I felt like behind. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to waste what I've already done. What can I do that I'm going to enjoy with the things that I already have?
Mm-hmm.
Again, in my mom's like voice in my head, okay, do something that's gonna make you money. So I really love tutoring during the whole process of the nursing program.
Mm-hmm.
I love science,
Mm-hmm.
and all the classes were science-based, like anatomy, physiology, microbiology, chemistry. And I had a friend that was doing the classes with me so that he would get into the program, and I would tutor him a lot. And I'm like, okay, I actually really like this. So then I was like, okay, maybe I can just become a teacher. Like, I can just teach the things.
Yeah.
So then I switched majors. I really was adamant. I'm like, I'm only gonna spend one more year. I have to go. So I like put everything for the secondary education degree in that 1 year. So I was doing like almost 24 credits. I had to get a signature from my counselor to be like, yeah, you can do this. 24 credits like each semester, so that I can just get my education classes done and be on time for when I wanted to go to U of A. So yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And
That's
then
crazy.
I mean, I never stopped loving theater, because I feel like I got my degree. I did a bunch of theater. That's where I fell in love with like really directing theater, where I got the chance.
And then you went to U of A?
Yeah, I went to U of A. Oh my gosh. I wish I could erase that like year. So I went to U of A for a year. I had a friend, Sergio, shout out to Sergio, that had already graduated too from AWC at the same time I did. So we're like, okay, well, let's go together. So we went to U of A. He was doing the theater degree, as he should, and I was still in denial. And so I did the secondary, it was called science education at that time, which is exactly what I wanted. And you would get certified at the end to be a teacher, and like from K to 12.
Oh, okay.
So it was like a really big range, which was awesome. Well, I had got my degree, planned my classes, paid my deposit in my apartment. I did all the things that you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then we moved. I think we moved probably like a month before we were supposed to start school, because we had friends over there and we kind of wanted to acclimate. And I was trying to register. Sergio had already registered. I'm like, okay, well, that's weird. Like, where are my classes? So I was trying to register, and none of my classes that were like part of my plan were there. So I'm like, okay. So then I made an appointment with an advisor so I could talk to them. And again, this was still like in the education department. Took forever to talk to an advisor, by the way. And then finally, when I talked to them, I think it was like 2 weeks before school, they're like, oh yeah, we discontinued that program. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, we don't have that program anymore. We only have it for the juniors and seniors that were already in the program so that they can finish. And I'm like, okay, nobody told me this. They're like, oh yeah, it just happened. I'm like, what do you... So, long story short, I begged them to let me into the program. I told them, like, you have no idea how hard I work. I can take like double the classes that normal people take. Like, just let me finish with the graduating class, like the junior class.
Yeah.
Because that would give me 2 years to finish the program. They were like, no, there's no way. You can't do it. I'm like, okay. So then I was like, well, what are my options? I am already here. I already paid the semester.
Did everything.
I did everything. Like, what do you want me to do? And so they're like, okay, well, you have two options. You can just do like a regular secondary education, and then you have to take the test on your own, which is like, and it's like a national test to make sure that you're like an expert in your subject.
Oh, okay.
but it wasn't science-based. So, like, I would have to do all of that outside work, and then just take, like, random science classes to fulfill the science requirement of that degree.
Got it.
And then the other one was like, or you can get a science degree, you can get a bachelor's in biology, and then do a master's program for a year after graduation, and that would be the education part. So I was like, okay, well, I think I want that one, because then I can, get a master's after, and it's only a year. So then I started doing that. So I was missing a few, like, not under, because they're all undergraduate. I was missing a few, like, lower level classes. So I really wasn't starting at the junior level. I was starting kind of, like, somewhere in between sophomore and junior. So I had to take chemistry 151, because I only took 130 at AWC, which is it was the requirement at the time.
Yeah.
And then I had to take calculus. What else did I take? Statistics. And then I'm like, okay, that's enough of that. And then Sergio was like, well, take directing with me. Like, take a fun class with me. And I'm like,
do theater.
Yes. I'm like, I'll do that. So then, so that first semester I did those 3 classes, and then I took the directing class. The directing class was fabulous. I had so much fun. I don't feel like I learned a lot, because I don't remember a lot of it, to be honest. It's like a blur. But I do remember, like, that was, like, my sigh of relief class after taking, like, all these other heavy hitters. I hated chemistry. They put you in this class of, like, 300 people. It was so bad. I still to this day can't remember my professor's name or, like, the people sitting next to me. Like, I knew nobody. You literally go in this huge auditorium, and the way that he took attendance was you had to log in to, like, this, like, game thing and then answer a question. Always got it wrong. Red flag right there. So it was horrible. And I was used to, like, college, where it was like 24 people at most.
Yeah.
Where your professor knew your name, you could, like, stay after and ask them a few questions. So I tried doing that over there, and he's like, oh no, speak to my TA.
Oh.
What is a TA? I didn't know that. I didn't know that term. I was like, well, who's the TA? And apparently the TA was the person that taught your was also the person that taught your lab.
Okay.
So that's how you knew who your TA was. But then I would ask the TA during lab, and he was very nice. Sorry if you remember this. But he was very nice, but he would never answer my questions. Like, he would kind of, like, skirt around.
Oh.
And then what was weird was the things that we did in lab did not match the things we were learning in chemistry.
Wait.
So I just stopped going. I was like, what's the point? What is the point if I'm not, like,
learning the same thing?
Learning anything? So yeah. So, long story short, on my first semester, wow, this is becoming a really long story.
No, but it's good. I'm like, these people need to know.
It was pretty bad. So, long story short, because I'm not, and here's the thing, because, like, people tell me, like, they fail classes, and I'm asking them, like, okay, well, why did you fail? It's like, oh, why? I never went to class, I never studied. I'm like, okay, well, that's why you failed. That's why I failed chemistry, okay? But I also think on the other side is, it was a huge culture shock for people that are going from community college to even, you know what, you want to go straight to university after high school. Huge culture shock. Yeah. I think in high school, the biggest class I experienced teaching, because I was a high school teacher, was 42. Okay. Even that, like, that's nowhere near 300. So, like, it's a culture shock whether you go from community college or to high school. It's gonna be insane. So I wasn't prepared for that, and so I think that kind of, like, threw me off. I wasn't getting the help I needed. They had, like, this tutoring program for the science department where you would go, like, kind of like a little bit off campus, and there would be tutors there, and you could go. It was the whole day, all the way to, like, 11 p.m. Oh. So if you, like, worked or you had, like, late classes or whatever, you could go anytime, which was awesome. And they were good tutors, but again, it just wasn't enough for me. So I ended up mid-semester, I was very, very depressed. I was like, I just want to go home. Like
this is your first semester?
This is my first.
Oh my God.
First semester.
This is insane.
I was like, I want to go home. This is not what I wanted. Like, and then I think also because it started off on a bad foot of like, I'm not in the program I was supposed to be. Because in that program, I didn't have to take calculus. I didn't have to take Chem 151. I didn't have to take statistics. So I'm like doing these classes and I feel forced.
Yeah. It's not what you planned for.
Exactly. It's not. So then I was like, I was really, really depressed. I was like I was just in a bad place. And so my friend Sergio, he's like, hey, they're going to have auditions for the studio series. I can't remember. It was like something beach party. It was like a satire. It was weird. He's like, come, just like come, have fun. Cause I was not an actor. So I knew I was like, why? I'm not gonna get a party. He's like, no, just come hang out with us. I'll introduce you to everybody. Like it'll be fine. It'll be fun. I'm like, okay, cool. So then we go. And yeah, I did not get a part. I did get a call back though. That was surprising. I'm like, really, me? But it was kind of cool because I was introduced to some people from the theater program that he knew. And then I went in and I got to see the theater and I got to see like the whole department. And I was like, oh, like, cause my directing class had nothing, wasn't even like in the theater department, like in the theater building. It was like in a humanities class. So I never came to this side.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is really cool. I was like, okay. So then it kind of just got me thinking. I'm like, okay, I'm miserable. I'm depressed. I'm gonna be broke anyways because I'm not passing these classes. Like, am I even gonna get my degree? I was like, just so much reflection. And so, I don't know why, or I don't know how, but somehow I got in touch with the stage management professor. And I had a conversation with her. And I was like, hey, like, I have this experience. Because at that point, I had been stage managing from high school. Wasn't a good stage manager at that time. But I had stage managed quite a bit for YCT. And I've done a lot of research. And I felt like I was really good at that time. And I'm like, I've done all these things. Here's all my paperwork. Here's my portfolio. Like, here's my resume. Do you think I can be in your tech program? And she looked at all my stuff and she's like, you did this? I'm like, yeah, I did this. I remember her like questioning me. I was like, why? Do you not think I could do this? Because again, I'm like, what is up with everybody just not believing?
People
like,
are just second guessing you.
Yeah, like, damn. And so then, yeah, she was like, yeah, you can be in the BFA program. Like that. Just like that. So all I had to do was, I think I had to write like a statement of purpose or like I think that's what it's called. Like, what is your purpose for being here?
Got it.
And then I had to get like some paperwork done so that they could switch my major. And yeah, just like that. I was in the BFA stage management program. So all I had to do was get through this damn semester and then I would be able to start taking like theater classes next semester.
And a smooth sailing.
Yes, smooth. And she's like, yes, you'll be able to like stage manage with us. You'll have to start like as an ASM or a PA. I'm like, great, perfect. Just put me somewhere. However, at that point, I think that was like already midpoint. I think that was either like the end of September or early October. I was already not doing well in my classes. The only one I had an A in was directing. Because, I mean, obviously. So then I decided, you know what? I'm going to withdraw from calculus. Because, again, I'm not... Why?
I don't need it.
But don't need it. So I'm going to withdraw from calculus. And then I'm going to... I'll focus on chemistry and I'll focus on statistics. Oh, I forgot, too. I was also taking a PIMA class, which was Bio 181.
Oh.
Bio 182, because I had done 181 in AWC. So yeah, oh my gosh, okay, I was doing a lot more than I thought. Because I was like, wow, only 4 classes. But I was doing 5 classes. I forgot that the PIMA one was weekly. So I passed the PIMA one. chemistry, I don't know what happened. I think there was just no way.
There's no chemistry.
There's no chemistry. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. we weren't vibing. I was gonna I was even thinking, like, what do you do in chemistry? Like, yeah.
You wouldn't know. Because we wouldn't need it.
I didn't pass.
We don't need it.
We don't need it.
Exactly.
So, which is funny, because never mind, that's a different story. So then...
I'm coming back to that later.
So I failed that class, and then statistics, almost passed, but I still failed. Almost. It was, like, very close, but he wouldn't curve the test, so then... there was no... It was, like, whatever.
It's always a damn curve.
Yeah, that stupid curve. But it's okay, because I don't curve either, so I'm like, okay...
It's all reflecting in your teaching.
Yes, it is. Thank you. And then, yeah, so the only class that I passed, and I passed with an A, was directing. So my transcript looked full. It really did. It was like F, F, W, A. And it wasn't even, like, in the field I was going for.
Yeah.
So, it's very telling.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? Whatever. Who cares? Like, it's fine. I'm, like, out of it anyways. So then my second semester, I took costume design and construction. I took intro to design, theater design, which is, like, where they go through, like, all the design elements for, like, sound, lights, costumes.
But those all sound so fun.
It was so fun. I was like, this is school. I was like, this is so, and it just goes to show, like, when you're really passionate about something, it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. That's where I learned to sew. That's where I learned to, like, draw, because in the costume design you have to, like, do all the renderings by hand.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and at that time too, at the beginning, I was going to be working on the shows.
Mm-hmm.
However, like, the second or third week, I get called into I can't remember her name, but I got called into the stage management professor's office, because she was in charge of the stage management program, which is what I was in.
Yeah,
that was my focus. And she's like, hey, like, I just reviewed your grades. She's like, what happened? Literally, she was just like, what happened? And I'm like, oh. And I told her, I'm like, like, I was taking classes that I didn't want to take. I told her basically, like, the last 20 minutes that we've been here, I've told, that was the exact story I told her. Like, this is not what I wanted to do. They put me in these classes. I freaking hate them. But then I'm like, but look at directing. I got an A. Like,
You cover the other ones.
Yeah. Just look at the A. And then I told her, again, I felt like she just didn't believe. Like, and I know, like, on paper it didn't look good, right? Yeah. But I told her, I'm like, don't worry. I'm going to ace all of these classes. My GPA will go up. Mm-hmm. Like, just, don't worry. And she's like, oh, well, policy, you can't be working on all these shows. Oh. Because of your grades. And I was like, which is really, like, this is what I wanted. I wanted to work on all the shows. Like, give me all the shows. So, like, I was able to work on The Tempest, but I wasn't able to work on the other ones. And I wasn't able to work on the musical, which was Cabaret at the time. Yeah. I think it was Cabaret. So I did. I worked on The Tempest, which was a lot of fun. It really, like, the way that it ran, that program was amazing. Mm-hmm. Like, they're so dumb for taking it apart. They don't have it anymore.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They don't have it because they feel... So they switched... So before, theater and film was completely separate. Mm-hmm. So now they've put theater and film together because they feel like it's better for actors to be well-rounded in both medias. So that, like, obviously, like, whatever audition comes up, whether it's film, movie, or, like, TV or theater, you can get a job because you know how to work all of it. Which I get it. I absolutely get it. But that had nothing to do with the tech program.
Yeah.
I feel like stage management could still, like, you need stage management for events, you need it for theater, you need it for, like, anything.
Yeah.
So, like, that translates to everything. Same thing with lighting, sound, set, like, so I'm not 100% sure on why they did that. So, I did the Tempest. It was great. The way that they operate was, like, super professional. I really felt like I was in a professional setting. And they do go by equity rules, which was great, because then you get to, like, learn that aspect too when you go into the professional world and you have to work with these equity rules.
What are equity rules?
Equity rules are for basically, like, how things are supposed to be run, and it's a union, so, like, it's for actors, and also, I guess, for stage managers. So, and it's basically, like, tells you, like, okay, how many breaks are they supposed to have, how many hours can they work before they get a break, things like that, like, how long can a rehearsal be. So it's, like, really, you know, for the safety of the actor. But as a stage manager, like, you have to know all those rules because you're the one that really kind of enforces it. So it was really good. It was a great experience. I was just really bummed because, again, the stupid shitty thing that happened in the first semester, like, has still affected me in the second semester. So I was doing that. The other thing too is that I had already done 3 years at AWC, and so I felt like, okay, I have enough credits, I have enough experience, I should be able to get done in 2 years, which is, like, usually you're supposed to do 2 years at AWC and then 2 years at uni, and then you're done. But I had a scholarship, so I, like, really milked it, and I took so many more classes than I needed to. But when I got into the stage management program, she told me, even though you have an associate's, you still don't have the show experience with us. So every semester you are required to work at least one show, and it needs to be over 3 years. So then I was kind of, like, starting from scratch. And that really horrified me too, because I'm like, gosh, that's more money, that's more time. Like, I just want to be done. So that was always in the back of my head. Okay, fast forward a little bit. So then I'm doing my thing. I'm having a great time. I'm with Sergio, whatever. Yes, great. So then come, like, maybe school ends in May. It was probably, like, April. I got a call from ASU. Don't know how they got my info. Probably from, like, my application from the year prior. I have no idea. But it was ASU, and they're like, hey, we are bringing a secondary education program to Yuma. It's going to be the first year that we're doing a bachelor's degree in Yuma, completely in Yuma. It's going to be a small cohort, and it'll be for secondary education. You'll get your certification after you're done. We're going to prep you for the test, and you'll get your certificate. And it's on all the subjects. So, like, obviously my focus was science, so like you'll do your science classes online and you'll do your education classes in person. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm kind of changed what I wanted to do. And they're like, oh, by the way, it's only like $2,000. I'm like,
okay, you convinced me.
Because just for reference, that 1 year at U of A, not including like my apartment, my food, my freaking parking, not including any of it, just my tuition and fees was over $12,000. $12,000. Which now, I mean, that was like, what, 10 years ago? I don't know what it is now. I don't know.
That's crazy.
I don't know if it's lower or less. I hope it's lower.
I mean,
That'd be great.
I'm paying like $12,000 for the dorm and my
that's good. But you're going to ASU, right?
Yeah.
ASU is much affordable, just so you know.
Yes.
And that whole thing about it being a party school, I didn't know that until after I graduated. I'm like, where were the parties?
Look, there's no there's parties, but if you don't look for them, then there's no parties.
I think I partied way more. Maybe that's also a red flag. But I partied way more at U of A.
Really?
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. I think, and also because I think it's easier access because everybody lives in such like really small. U of A is big, but it's big and confined into one block.
Yes,
you know?
That's what I saw when I went to tour it. It just felt like it's just like this.
Yeah, it's like it's a big square.
Yeah,
it really is. It's a big square.
And then there's ASU that has Glendale, it has downtown, it has Tempe, and then it has Poly, and it's just like
it's so spread out. So I had to really think about it because I was like, holy crap, I'm spending so much money. That's another 2 years. And at that time, before I had gone to U of A, I was debt free. All of my education was paid for. I was a Matador ambassador, which paid for some of my tuition and my books. Then I got the theater scholarship, so that paid for another 2 years. And then I also got a little bit of financial aid towards the end of AWC. So like I was debt free. I had zero like debt. And then I got to U of A and it's like, oh, here, you got to pay for all these things. I'm like, holy shit. So, and I was working too. I was like,
oh,
I know.
You're doing so much.
I know. I think about it. I'm like, okay, well, no wonder I didn't pass my classes. I was working at Parking and Transportation as a work study, which I met some of the greatest people there, but that was not a good working environment for students. Yikes. Do better. But I got a discount on my parking, which was nice.
That's nice.
Yeah, but it was still incredibly expensive. I think it was $700 to park in the parking garage.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it was $700. Again, coming from like a community college with free parking.
No.
I was like, why do I have to pay for this?
It's that, and it's like literally one class is how much it would be for a semester at AWC.
Yeah, exactly. I think at the end, and then again, it kind of put a sour taste in my mouth when I went in and I asked, like, please let me still do this. I will prove to you, like, I can do and she was just like, no. Like, and it wasn't like I get policies and procedures, right? I'm a big stickler for them too. But it wasn't any, like, there was no empathy. There was no, like, care or any of that. It was just kind of like, no. So I'm like, it just, so that kind of soured.
Very, like, detached.
Yes, very detached. Where, again, I guess I had great experiences with my professors at AWC. And then also, like, this was the professor in charge of my not big program. So, like, everybody knew everybody. It's not like she has, like, 300. She has, like, a cohort of, like, maybe 35, 40 students. So, like, I felt there should have been some kind of, like, relationship there.
Right.
And, you know, honestly, she could have been like, no, but, you know, like, just work hard this semester and, you know, we're going to get you back of next year. But no, it was just like, no. So that kind of made me feel a certain way too. And so I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is a sign. Maybe this is a sign that, like, here's a program that they're giving me for very cheap. It's gonna be back home. I get to go back to my family. And it's what I wanted from the beginning. So I'm like, maybe this is a sign. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go. So I accepted the offer from ASU. And yeah, I left Tucson in July and I came back home. And I started the program in August and it was fantastic. We were like a cohort, I think of like 9 people. And we would do, I think it was Mondays. Mondays we would do an all day kind of like schedule of all the classes we had to take in person. And there was only one teacher, Joanna, and she was amazing. She's a great teacher. And so yeah, we spent like from 9 a.m. to probably about like 4 p.m. And then there was one semester we had to go all the way to like 7.
Okay.
And then the science classes I took online to make sure that I had the science requirements for the degree. So yeah, it took me 2 years, and then I finished. Going back to U of A though, when I finished U of A, they sent me my transcripts. And I had gotten all A's. And so my GPA went from like, it was so bad. I think it was like a 1.5.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because I only
yeah,
I had only
right.
passed this one class. So I went from a 1.5 to a 3.5.
Wow.
And then it would have kept going on and on and on. And I think at 1.2 I would have probably retaken like one of the ones I failed, probably like biostatistics. I think that was easier than chemistry to like boost up my GPA a little bit more. But at that point I really didn't care about like having a 4.0 or whatever. I just wanted to prove to the professor that was like, I told you.
Yeah.
I told you I was going to be able to do it. So it was like, whatever. Anyways, I went to ASU then after. So there you go. So then that's how I became a secondary education teacher. I did the 2 years at ASU Yuma. My last semester, you're supposed to do student teaching, which is where like you take over a class with a mentor teacher with you. So like you guys are kind of like teaching it together, but you're doing majority of the work in the class. And it's just, to make sure, like, you're ready. You got this. Well, the last semester, because we have such a shortage of science teachers in Yuma, they asked me, ASU had, like, this agreement, whatever, with the high schools here. And they're like, hey, we need a science teacher. Would you want your own classroom?
Whoa.
And I was like, whoa. But also, I've always been, like,
I got it.
I've always been that type of person. Like, yeah, I can do it. Whatever, it's fine. I'll fake it till I make it.
Yeah.
At COFA, I had mentored under Miss Kakalak for, I think, 2 semesters. 2 semesters. And I loved her. She did anatomy and physiology, and she was freaking amazing. Kind of like towards the end of fall semester, something happened with the anatomy professor that was next door to her. She's like, I need someone. Do you want to do it? And I'm like, oh, okay, cool, great. I know her. I love how she works. She's right next door to me. Yeah. Like it won't feel like super hectic, all by my lonesome.
Yeah.
So she's like, okay, great, cool. So then, yeah, I got my own classroom. It was extremely difficult because the students were used to a certain teacher. So coming in, I was already the third person that they were, that they'd seen in their classroom. And so it was really hard at first to gain their trust. And then I had a second period. I had first period planning, and I had a second period that was, it's like they put all of the students that had rough, edges in this one class. So it wasn't a good balance.
Yeah.
Because when you have a balance, it's easier to kind of, again, to like, okay, I know y'all are good. I can then focus here. But I had to focus everywhere. Like everybody needed like the help and the assistance and the support. So it was very rough. They were my hardest to like get them to trust. But once I got like half or a little bit over half of the students' trust, it was a lot easier. There were still students that were like, we don't care. We just have to be here.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to sit here and do nothing for the 50 minutes because I have to be here. And I'm like, okay, cool, bet. Like, if I can't get through and you're like stuck in this like fixed mindset, then there's nothing I can do. Like, I had one student, like, I asked him, like, well, because they're like, why do I need to know this? I'm like, well, you're human and you need to know anatomy. You need to know how to, your body works. Like bare minimum right there. But then I asked him, like, well, what do you want to do after like high school? Like, let's see how you can apply this. Like, let's make it relatable. And they're like, I'm not doing anything. I'm going to go work at McDonald's. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So at that point, I think,
cool.
I think like my brain just like, and there's nothing wrong with me like working at McDonald's, but then I was like, how do I relate this? So at that point I was like tripped. I'm like, I will come back to you and we'll continue this conversation later.
Real. Anyways.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, cool. So they were my hardest. But then everybody, I really did. I loved all my other periods. I'm very much real when I'm teaching. Like, if I'm annoyed by what you're doing, you're gonna know I'm annoyed. But the kids kind of like that because they'll be like, oh, like, let's see how we can get her. And but I'll sit there, like, I won't react to it, or I won't, like, add to it or whatever, and I'll just be like, cool, like,
what more do you want from me?
And moving on. Like, so I really enjoyed working with high school students. And I had sophomores through juniors. Okay. So it was mixed classes, which adds another element of, like, difficulty, because you're working with kids that are in, like, different stages of, like, development. And even though it's like, okay, you get, like, 17 to 18-year-olds, it is a huge, like, think about when you were 17, 15, and then going to 18. Like, it's a huge change. A lot of teaching is not, like, technique. It's just really, like, building relationships and being, like, real with them. Especially at that age, they don't want the fakey, like, oh my gosh, like, okay, like, we're gonna do this, blah, blah, blah. Like, they just want, like, real people. Like, just tell it to them real. I think a lot of the times now we're, like, afraid to hurt their feelings. They're gonna be fine. Like, they're gonna be okay.
I feel like when you were in high school, you went through a lot more than getting your feelings hurt by a teacher.
There's things that I guess we're just afraid to express as teachers. One of the biggest things is admitting you're wrong. I had so many teachers growing up where I'm like, oh, they're all knowing. Like, because they would never say, like, oh, wait, this was not right. Like, hold on, they would just, like, continue on, even though they knew they were wrong.
Yes.
So it gives, like, this, like, God complex of, like, okay, they're all knowing beings. And I've had that too when I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have to know everything. Like, if they ask me a question, I need to know the answer. And so then when I actually started teaching anatomy, I was like, oh crap, I don't know things. Like, one of the kids asked me one time, like, oh, what's the smallest bones in the body? I was like, I don't know. Like, it's something I probably should know. But I'm like, oh my God, like, I really don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, it probably has to be in the ear. I'm like, oh, what ear bones? And then he's like, name them.
Oh.
Like, testing me.
Oh.
I was like, I don't know. And then he like names them.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Like, thank you for teaching me something. Like, I really didn't know the names. And then he kind of was like, shocked that I didn't know. And I'm like, I don't know everything.
Yeah.
Like, there are gonna be things that I learn so that I can actually teach them. Or I don't know and we learn together.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the biggest things too. Like, a part of teaching and teaching truthfully is just being able to admit you're wrong. So yeah, but yeah, that went well until I think it was, so we were doing our, like, big project, which is where we dissect a whole cat.
A cat?
From, like, skin to
that's crazy.
Yeah, like, we go through the skin, the muscles, all the way down to the bones. I have to account for every scalpel, because they use medical grade scalpels. And if a kid takes that, we're gonna have problems. So we had a lab that was, like, separated. It was right next door to the classroom, but it was separated from the classroom. So, but they had these huge windows, so I can kind of, like, look in, whatever. So at the end, where they all, like, are cleaning up, I would go to their station. I'd be like, okay, you guys are all, like, cleaned up. Scalpels are here. You can go into the next room. And so I would have to go through that. We never had an issue until one day. I think I'm with, like, the last one or two groups, and I'm, like, just making, okay, good, it's clean, blah, blah, blah. Someone comes running back into the lab, because remember, all the kids are, like, now in the classroom getting their stuff ready for the bell, whatever. Someone comes running into the class, like, Miss Ayala, they're fighting! And I'm like, fighting? Like, what? So then I, like, book it, and yeah, these two guys, again, second period, these two guys were fighting. I had my desk in groups, and one of the kids, to get to the other kid, literally, I saw, like, freaking Hulk moment. There was two together. He took one side of them and boof, like threw both of them at the same time. And he was screaming and he was crying because the other student had said a slur.
Oh.
And he took it really personal.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was crying, he was yelling, and the other kid was like being protected by another student. Mm-hmm. The kid that was crying and like yelling, that got offended by the slur, got really close to the other kid. So like me, wasn't thinking, I got in between them, and I was like trying to help the student that was crying and pulling him back, and the other guy threw a punch. Literally, I'm not exaggerating, I felt the air like pass across
oh
my face as he threw this punch, and I was like, holy shit, I almost got dead. And so then I started yelling. I was like, enough. Like, I was like so mad at that point.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like, they were chill in class. They were actually kind of like buddies. They're all good kids. They just make dumb choices at sometimes. So then I had a girl, I'm like, I need you to call security, just press 3. And so I had her call security, and I guess the other teacher, my mentor teacher was out of town that week. So her sub was a retired teacher, and she was like really good. And so she came in and helped and took one of the kids into the hallway. And then one of the students had said, oh, hey, this kid, the one that was crying, his brother is in the next room over in math. I'm like, great, go get him. And so we kind of just separated them. Then security came, took the kid that threw the punch, because he wasn't super like outspoken. He wasn't yelling at that point or crying or really emotional. I think he was just like really contained. Yeah. And so they took him. We were trying to calm down the other kid. His brother came, started talking to him. And so, like, we were all just like, hey, you know, like, he should have never said that. We're trying to calm him down, but also not validate what he had just done. Right. Because it still wasn't okay. So I think we got him to a point where, like, he was calmed down enough, and then we let the security take him. And at that point, the bell had already rung, and it was, like, super chaos, and then just quiet. And I was expected to go into my third period. So then I go into my third period. All this adrenaline.
So much just went.
Just like I was like, oh, and then it just like dropped. And so I was telling them, I remember, because it's so embarrassing. I was telling them what to do in third period. And I'm like, okay, this is what we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be great. Ha ha. And then all of a sudden I start crying. And I remember this one student, she stands up and she's like, Miss Ayala, who hurt you? Like, and they're all like, whoa, what happened? And then I would just like, just give me a minute. I'm so sorry. So I go into the lab, freaking sob. Yeah. And I think it was just like, it was the so much. Yeah. And then for it to just kind of like go down. And then we realized like what had just happened. It was a lot. I had never experienced anything like that in my life. Even when I was in high school, I wasn't a type of student to be like, yeah, fight. I was just like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm gonna step away. Yeah. So
you could step away.
Yes, I could. Yes. Yeah. This one I was like, holy crap, I have to do something. So I came back into the room and I gave him an option. I'm like, hey, like, I'm not in a good state of mind. If y'all just want to work on like homework or something like that, or do you guys want to do the lab? Like, I'm going to give you a choice. And they're like, no, it's okay. Like, we'll chill. We'll be quiet. Like, you know, and I'm like, okay, great. But they were really nice. They came up, they would like ask me if I was okay. And then the next day they found out why I was crying. And so then they like were talking about like, I can't believe it. Like, how dare they, blah, blah, blah. So it was very, very sweet. They were very protective, very cute. But yeah, that was my student teaching experience. That's crazy. Yeah, it was crazy.
Do they teach you about like student no?
They teach you strategies on how to have good classroom management, how to have effective, good is not a good word, or an effective word, but how to have effective classroom management, and then also to look for like student behaviors that may like seem out of the ordinary, and how to handle certain things. But you can read all the books, you can, role play all the exercises with your peers in your cohort. Nothing prepares you for what it actually is.
Yeah.
And you just kind of have to like think on the fly. And it is good to have that knowledge because it will help you in the moment. Obviously I don't know if I made the best decision of like just getting in between them, but at that moment there was nothing. I wanted to literally like help him because I saw how much he was in pain. I wasn't really honestly thinking about the other kid. I was thinking about this kid.
Right.
And so like when I moved to like hold him back, I wasn't like thinking, oh, this guy is gonna swing or this guy's gonna do something. So yeah, but no, they really don't teach you like, okay, well, what are you gonna do when there's a fight, or what are you gonna do in this, and then you just kind of have to experience it. Yeah, no, education degrees are more of like pedagogy, how to like create effective lesson plans and how to fit those in like a scope of sequence, how to align like the standards, like the national and state standards depending on like what your school goes through. So it's really more of like the background of it, like as a teacher, or if you think back like on your teachers, they had an objective, like this is what we're going to learn today, this is how we're going to do it. They would model blah blah blah. All of that comes from knowing how to teach. And so that's really kind of the essence of the education degree. But it's, I wish they would spend more time on like the psychology and learning more like behavioral strategies, and then but again, nothing, you can read all the books. I don't feel like you're gonna really know until you're in that moment.
And then when you went from student teaching to actually teaching, like how was that?
It was great. So I think at that time, I knew I didn't want to stay at Kofa. I kind of knew I didn't want to stay in Yuma. So towards the end of the semester, and I think it was maybe like a minuscule percent of the fight, but I had always known I don't want to stay in Yuma. I wanted to go and explore. So at that time, I had another friend that was trying to leave Yuma too, and I'm like, let's leave together. So I went and interviewed in Las Vegas. I don't know why. Oh, because the friend I was going with was going for lighting.
Oh, okay.
Also at this whole time, I'm still like doing theater.
You're still doing theater. So every time you're just in Yuma, you were just doing theater.
I'm just doing theater all the time. It's just not. It's never been my full time.
Got it.
But so I was still directing and all that stuff. So I met this girl, Caitlin, and she was a great lighting designer and stage manager. And so she was going to go to school while I worked in a different place. So I think we picked Las Vegas because of that. And I had gotten interviewed and I had gotten hired. So we went one day just to go like apartment hunting and just kind of like look around. Hella expensive. So then we were kind of like, okay, maybe this is not the right move. And then we were thinking about like other places. And then finally I came back to Tucson. I'm like, hey, I've lived in Tucson. It was great. They have a great tech program. You can go to Pima Community College and like learn more, because the AWC theater degree was lacking, for a better word. You could get the degree, but most of the classes would not transfer. They would transfer as like electives instead of transferring as like the actual class that they're supposed to be. So she was still missing quite a few classes, and I'm like, well, you can do Pima Community College. It's great. They have a great theater program, and then they'll transfer to U of A when you're ready. And she was like, okay, that sounds good. It was cheaper than most places. So then we left to Tucson. I got interviewed and hired on the spot at South Point Catholic High School, and I taught there for 3 years in their biology department. Wow. The first year I was kind of upset because I had been hired as a science instructor. Well, I had applied as a science instructor, and with the knowledge of like, oh, you're gonna get some biology classes. Okay, cool. And then when I interviewed, they're like, oh yeah, it's for earth science and environmental science. I'm like,
those are two different.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of the times, not saying like they have this mentality only, but a lot of the times in education, if your field is anywhere close to like another field, biology is not earth science, okay? But because it's like, there's science. You can
science.
Science. Like, it's like, oh, you're under here. Like, you can do it. Which is not true. Not true at all. So I had to prep a lot that year because I was learning new things that I didn't go to school for. Like, none of my science classes were any... I think I took one environmental science class. Didn't learn anything. So yeah, that was a very difficult year, especially being first year in a new school. And then having to prep 2 new whole classes. I had great mentor teachers there. I had great colleagues there that helped. It was a great environment that they've created. It was just very difficult because of that. But yeah, it was a private school. It was a Catholic school. It was a lot stricter than what I was used to at public school, which was very nice because I felt, okay, like a load off. Instead of doing like 40% teaching and 20% teaching and like 80% trying to manage 40 kids in one class, it became like a 50-50. It was really nice. So I could focus a lot more on like the teaching aspects. And then the second year is when I got biology. And then the third year it was really cool because they gave me biology, but they also allowed me to create the anatomy and physiology program there. And so I taught anatomy and physiology. So yeah, it was a really great experience. But COVID hit. And when COVID hit, it was my second year teaching, and it happened in April where they closed down the school. It was crazy too because the Friday before we canceled school on Monday indefinitely, I even had one girl, because I did a project because they were all scared. They were so scared. And I'm like, okay, like at that point we only had information that like it's a flu virus. Right. I'm like, okay, let's take this information and try to like calm them down. So we did a project of like, okay, well, what is a virus and what's the flu virus and like what, so we did like a little research mini project and kind of like gave them more information about what it is. They were just hearing like corona, or at that point I think it was coronavirus. And they're like, we don't know what this is. This is so scary, blah, blah, blah. And so then I was like, okay, well, let's talk about what viruses actually are. And so I used it as like a learning moment. And I do remember this one girl asked me, like, Miss Ayala, like, do you think like they're going to close down the school? And I was like, no, they're not. Oh. It's fine. Like, we'll be fine. It will be okay. I will see you on Monday. I did not see them on Monday.
I'll see you on Monday.
I did not see them on Monday. I did not see them for the rest of the year.
Ever again.
We tried to do like check-ins. So basically what we did is we had to put all of their, and thank God it was only like 2 months, or like even like I think it was like 8 weeks left or 6 weeks left. So we would have to put like all of their work online, and then they would finish it at home, obviously, and we would do daily check-ins. So like they were required to meet me at like the beginning of what their period would have been, and we get on Google Meets. I'm like, hey, like, are we good? Who needs help? If they had questions, blah blah blah. I would like go over the instructions for what they're supposed to be doing, and that's how we finished the school year. And then we come back the next year. We start online. I have to go into the classroom, which I think was stupid, but whatever. I have to go into the classroom. They're online completely. And then I think like 4 weeks in, we shift to hybrid. So like if parents did not feel comfortable putting their kids back into the class, they would stay home. So I literally, just like how we have the camera here, I'm teaching to students on camera, and then I'm teaching to students in my class at the same time.
How was that?
It was challenging. It was difficult. It was hard because they were so adamant. Admin was so adamant of like, you have to make sure that these students feel included. And I'm like, okay. So I would like try to like post like discussion questions in the chat. I'm like, okay, answer your questions, and then I would talk to them while they're answering their questions, and then I would go back. It was like a lot of back and forth. It was also hard because the things that are very science is a very hands-on thing. So like the things that I was doing with them, I just had to model for the students online.
Yeah.
And so they weren't getting that element. Which is funny because then at the end, like, I think we got some feedback, and all the kids on Zoom were like, oh, we didn't feel like we were part of the class. Well, yeah, because you're on a like, you're at home.
There's only so much I can do.
Exactly. Like, I'm not a miracle worker here, you guys. And then it's funny because there's a lot of times where, like, the students are supposed to be at home, right? Because they're scared. Not them, maybe their parents are scared of them to go to school, supposedly. And they would be, like, in their cars going to Dutch Bros. Or, like, going to Starbucks. Or one time was so funny. This kid was, I think he was at home. And he was chatting. And if you don't, like, if you don't specify who you're talking to, it's going to go in the full chat, the whole classroom.
Yeah.
And I think he was supposed to be chatting with his dad. Like, he had another window open. Oh, and so he's like, oh, can you get me this from Chipotle? And it was just his Chipotle order. And I was like, are you asking me to order that for you? And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, that was for my dad. I'm like, okay, well, can you like text your dad like after I'm done talking? Like, at least wait until I'm done. So yeah, that was funny. So funny. But I got a lot of, because I told them they don't have to keep their cameras on, because I know a lot of students it just, may not have the best living situation. I just had to see their face, though, at the very beginning of class when I'm taking attendance. And then, like, if I ask them a question on chat, they better be able to answer it right away. Like, even if it was like, hey, like, are you still there? Yes. And there would be times where, like, they turn on their camera for, like, that split second, and they're in the car. Or, like, one girl was in a doctor's office. And I was like, girl, like, if you're gonna go to the doctor, just let me know. Like, that's an excuse. Like, you have a legitimate reason. But yeah, if they were not at home and they didn't have an excuse absence, I would count them absent. I would be like, you're not supposed to be in your car. Like, that's an absence.
Yeah.
Because if you're in your car going somewhere, especially to go get Dutch, you can be in the class. Yeah. Like, so, yeah, it was difficult.
That's a time.
I know.
And then, how did you come back to Yuma then?
Oh, where do I start? Oh, okay, so during COVID, I don't know why I decided. No, I must have started before COVID. I started a master's program. So I got my bachelor's in secondary education, emphasis in biology, and I was like, oh, you know what? Like, I kind of want to be able to teach at the college level. So I went back and I got my master's in biology at GCU, and it was online. And so I was doing the online classes, again, still doing theater. This is where I started actually working professionally in the theater.
Wait, in Tucson?
In Tucson. So, like, I would work with different theater companies, like, and they would hire me as a freelance stage manager.
Oh.
Yeah, so I worked with Arts Express, Southwest Stage, Arizona Rose, and SAPAC. And then I was also working with CYT, which is Christian Youth Theater. And I was teaching their classes, and I was directing with them. Yeah, professionally. So all of these were, like, professional. They were not what you call regional theaters, but they paid.
Yeah.
And I was like, great. I had never been paid before. You must all volunteer.
Yeah.
And I was like, great, I'll take it. I'll take that stipend. So yeah, so I was going to work full-time at the school. I was full-time with the masters, and I was working at night as a stage manager. So it was a fun time. And then COVID hit, which really, I mean, affected my school, and it affected stage management, but it didn't affect my master's. So I just kept going.
Yeah. And
I finished April of 2020. So, like, barely when we're trying to get out of the COVID situation. And I applied right away to all the community colleges, all the colleges. I was just like, please take me. And I got an interview with Arizona College of Nursing, and they really liked that I had background in teaching remotely because I had to do that the whole, that whole year of COVID. And I was still doing that at the time. And so then, they hired me. I was an adjunct. I was teaching their biology classes. And it was nice because it was once a week, and it was a 3-hour online class. And that one was cool because I actually had to, have them do things with me at the same time. It wasn't like, I have students here and here. It was all remote.
Yeah.
So it really made me think creatively of okay, how can I make this transfer over here? So it was really nice. It was cool. I had a lot of fun. And then we dropped the COVID requirements, and we went back into the class, both my high school and the college. The college was only once a week. I did it. It was great. And then he's like, okay, because there were every 8 weeks. There were short classes. And the guy that was the dean, he's like, okay, well, do you want to do 2 classes at once? I'm like, great, cool, bring it on. So then I taught 2 classes at once. And then he's like, okay, cool, we have an opening for learning resource coordinator, which is kind of like a librarian, but not. It was a lot of work, getting the textbooks, making sure that there was this room with study rooms, making sure those were running smoothly, working with some students, coaching them, and making sure they were passing their grades, or if they needed even life coaching, we were doing that. Resources, how can I was how a librarian, here, look at all these resources you have, please use them. So it was kind of like that, but I was still going to be teaching on the side. And it was a lot more money. And so they wanted me to literally stop working at the college. And to or not the college, the high school,
to be able to do.
And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I can't break the contract. And this was, I had already signed my contract for the next year, so they wanted me to break the contract for the new year. I hadn't even started my 3rd year of high school teaching, and I was like, no, I really thought about it, and I was like, I should just do it, and I'm like, no, my integrity would not let me. I had already signed this contract. We were already doing professional development for the new school year. So it would only have given the school a week to find someone new. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that to them. I wouldn't want anybody to do that to me.
Right.
Which, I know some people are going to be like, oh, you don't owe them nothing. I'm like, I kind of signed a contract. So then I was like, can you please, I still want to adjunct. Can you please, wait a year? And they're like, well, we can't wait a year, but we'll still have you adjunct, and you'll still work with us. I'm like, great. So then I started working more. I got more classes with the college, still working high school. And then something happened towards the end where I guess the learning resource coordinator that they had hired to replace me, well, not replace me because I never took it, they left. I don't know what happened. I can't remember. So then they asked me again, towards the end of the school year, hey, do you want it? And I was like, yeah, but just wait, like I have like
just
give me a second. I'm like, I have like 3 more weeks of instruction, like please, like I will be. And they're like, okay, cool. Yeah. So I ended high school that like a Friday in May, and that following Monday I was already working at the college. Jeez. Yeah. So yeah. So then, more. Damn, there's so much more. Okay, this is like this is how life is, though. This is how life is. Like, it just, you start in one place, but you don't usually stay there. So then, I worked as a resource learning coordinator, and then I also taught, like, classes too as part of my job description. Very cool. I loved the people. Found like a work bestie there. She was awesome. There was a Barnes and Nobles next to our building, so we would literally like any moment we had free, we'd go to Barnes and Nobles. We'd go for lunch. Like we'd go get a coffee in the morning. Like it was great. The students were all I mostly worked with students that were trying to get their generals done for the nursing program, because this was the nursing college, like just a technical college for nurses. And so I mostly worked with them, trying to get them to finish their general so that they could get into the actual core part of the like nursing program that they had. So yeah, and then I was also like the advisor for this like this nurse mentorship where the nursing students would mentor the general students, which was really nice. Or they would like mentor like lower, not lower level, like under years of them. I don't know if that makes sense. Like if they were seniors, they would mentor the juniors. Okay, yes. Good. Like lower level sounds so mean. Like no, you're not the dumb. Like it's just lower level. Yeah. And so it was a great experience, but I wanted to be teaching more. I really missed high school. I missed high school because I saw my students every day. I had these great relationships with them. With these students I was teaching, I only saw once a week. I did have them for multiple classes because like I was one of the few teachers that could teach biology, microbiology, anatomy. So like they were getting me multiple times, but like I only saw them once a week. So the relationship building really wasn't there. Right. And I get that that's not really part of like the college experience for the most part, but it was part of my experience that I wanted to give, and I wasn't able to. So I was really missing like just really teaching more, and I was only teaching 1 or 2 classes because most of my job was the learning resource coordinator, which I knew. I'm not complaining, but I just felt like I needed more.
You wanted more, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm always on the hunt. Like
ready for the next step.
I'm always on the hunt. I'm like, okay, well, what's next? What after like experience this, what would be like the next level? And so I wanted to become a full-time professor. So I looked at some places in Tucson, but nobody was really like hiring, and I'm like, okay, or they were hiring but it was nowhere near what I was getting paid. And then at that point, like I was paying like rent and all this like stuff that needed to get paid. So I'm like, okay, I need to get paid a certain amount of, like the adulting part of life. And so I'm like, okay, well, I could probably do it. I could like pull back on some things and I could do it if this is really what I wanted. But it just didn't make sense to me. I'm like, why am I going to leave a job that pays me really well, that I actually really love doing, for another job that's not going to pay me as well, that I may love doing more, but it's just going to put me in a bind. So it just, so I was like, okay, maybe I'm not going to do it. And then I don't know why these things just fall into like my lap, just like the ASU call. But then I got an email, which I don't remember ever getting emails from AWC before about job listings.
Yeah, I love that people just have your information.
And then so like I got an email from like AWC job listings, and then one of them said professor of biology.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I was like, So, so I did. I did apply, and so most of the time when I apply, I'm just applying to see like just like throwing out a fish, like a what
a hook.
Yeah, there you go. I'm all trying to do like fish and that like analogies, and I don't even fish, but I was like throwing a hook over to see like what I'll catch. And so yeah, so I didn't hear anything for a while, kind of forgot about it, and then in the new year, January, I got a call, and I was like, they were like, hey, like, can you come in for an interview? I'm like, haha, no, I'm in Tucson.
There's no way of me getting there.
I can't get there because I'm working during that time. If I ask my boss to be like, hey, I'm going on an interview, he's gonna kill me. But I was interested. I was like, let's see where this goes. I'm like, I can't be there, but can I do a Zoom interview? And they're like, oh yeah, that's fine. So then I do a Zoom interview. They asked me to like create like like a little mini lesson for like whatever subject I want. I think one of them was like, there was like different subjects, and one of them was mitosis and meiosis. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that because that's what I know really well. And so yeah, so I did the interview. It was a little daunting. Because I don't know why, but like maybe because I went to college there and that's my alma mater.
Yeah.
And some of the professors on the like hiring committee were my professors. So I felt like a very like an imposter. First of all, I felt like an imposter, and then I felt like a child. I was like, oh my god, like age reversion here. Yes, like hi. And so yeah, so it was very daunting, but I did that, and then I moved on to another interview with like I think it was like one of the deans or whatever. She was great, but then she left, so like I didn't really get to like talk to her very much, but she was great. We had great conversations, and then I think I did a final interview, and that was that. So and then I got the letter, and I think it was, again, sign. I was like, okay, maybe this is a sign, because there was a lot of things happening at home, too. Like, personal things happening at that time. So then I'm like, you know what? This is probably a sign.
Yeah, like, you should be with your family.
Yeah, like, I need to go home. So, yeah, that's how I got back here.
And then now you're teaching?
Now I'm here. Yeah, so now I'm still teaching. I'm teaching biology at AWC. I love it. I teach full-time. I teach all kinds of different biology classes, which is cool because I feel like my background really prepared me in that. As much as I hate being forced to like learn a whole new subject to teach, like at South Point, where like earth science, environmental science, what is this? However, having that experience in high school, and also having the experience of teaching all these different classes at Arizona College of Nursing prepared me to be able to teach. Like, I can teach microbiology, I can teach Bio 181, 182, 100, 201, 202, 160, like all of those I can teach. So it's really nice to be that versatile, because like anytime they're like, oh yeah, we need this class, bet, like
I got it.
I can do it if you want me to. And I do. I love that it's like I'm back home. It's my alma mater. Like I love what AWC did for me as a student. So like I really try to like put that back in my classes that I teach. I really do love like my school, so I take a lot of pride in what I do, and I'm really happy like working at AWC. Like I love it. And it's like, and again, I still sometimes like when I see my professors like walking, I'm like hi, and I'm like, oh, like you're now my colleague. It's just weird. It's so weird. I revert back to like being a student and a kid.
What I do at the end is just like, do you have any advice for people who are like trying to figure out adulthood, and like just like what you wish you knew?
What I wish I knew in high school, I wish I knew that AP classes don't matter unless you pass that test, which Did you take AP classes? No? Okay. AP classes are like the advanced placement classes, and they do tell you like, oh, they'll boost your GPA because they're like weighted differently. They're weighted more because technically it's a college class, so they're weighted more. And so like if you took like a normal Brit Lit, it wouldn't be weighted as much as if you took like AP Brit Lit. However, to get the college credit, you need to pass the AP exam. And the AP exams historically are much more difficult than the actual course themselves.
Oh.
Yeah. So I took AP classes every year in high school. Didn't pass a dang exam, like, at all. Which, I mean, okay, so, like, I painted myself in a really bad light because I was like, yeah, I failed all these classes at U of A. I'm a great student. I graduated from AWC with a 3.8. I graduated with my bachelor's with a 4.0. Like, I'm a good, studious student.
Yeah.
So, like, me passing the AP exams, I just felt I was unprepared. And also maybe just not fully aware of the weight of it. And maybe my teachers did tell me, like, take it seriously, it's a college course. Or maybe I was just really young and I'm like, I don't care. I hate talking bad about teachers because, like, I know, like, in your 15, 16-year-old mind, like, everyone's against you, so, like, you paint everything in a bad light, and I'm sure they're very lovely. But I did have this teacher for AP World History where I remember him taking the Wikipedia pages and making them overhead. Do you remember those overhead where, like, you would turn on a lamp and, like, they would write on it?
Oh, yeah.
So he would make them overhead pages, and that's how he would teach. If we're talking about, like, a certain dynasty in, like, China, and that was, like, what the day's lesson was, he'd be like, okay, write a summary. So we would just write summaries.
Oh.
Yeah. It was very, like, cut and dry. Did that help at all for our test? No. We all failed. So yeah. So my experience with AP classes were just not very good. And I think at that level, too, you just have to have a really good, experienced teacher that knows their shit. Because I'm telling you, the exams are hard. Like, harder than actual, like, the course itself. So my advice, and I've told this to all my nieces and nephews, my advice is skip the AP classes. Okay, if you want to go to Harvard, or you want to go to Cambridge, or you want to go to, like, those fancy smancy, schools that really look at the GPA and that matters, cool, take the AP classes, because it really will. It'll boost your GPA up. But if you're like, no, I'm just gonna go to, like, a regular school that still has great education, then just take the college courses.
Yeah.
So you can take the college courses. There's, like, two things. You can do dual enrollment, which is where you take the class as a high school class, and then you have, like, your high school teacher teach the class, and then you get the credit for the college class. Or you can do what's called concurrent, where you take high school classes, you get out a little bit early, and then you go take college courses. The high school here, like, the district, has a great dual enrollment program and a great concurrent program. Like, there are so many classes you can take, and it's super cheap. It's like $25 versus, like, the $75 per credit hour, or I think it's like $80 now. I don't know how much it is. So that's, like, a big thing, because then you're guaranteed, like, if you pass the class, which, as long as, like, you're doing the work, you can, you're gonna get the college credit.
Yeah.
So, like, versus where you have to take an exam and you may or may not get the college credit. And then the scoring is really weird for the AP. Like, it's 1 through 5, and sometimes, like, the exams are like, yeah, you can get a 4 or you can get a 5 and you'll pass, or some of them like, no, you need to have a 5.
Oh.
Exactly. So it's like, yeah. So that's a big thing. It's like, I wish I knew that. So take dual enrollment classes, you guys. And then another one is just, like, not needing to figure everything out right away. Like, the great thing about college is that you have 2 years to do generals. And generals are just regular, like, English classes, math classes, like, classes that are not going to, like, define your career. And so in those 2 years, because, like, when I graduated, I was 17. I went to college at 17. I don't know a lot of 17-year-olds that have their shit together. Like,
I did not.
you know, like, and so I think it's really unrealistic to expect students to know, like, exactly what they want to do right off the bat. And if some of them do, awesome, great, go for it. Like, live your best life. But if you need that extra time, use that extra time. And use those 2 years. 2 years, like, that. Just do your generals, focus on general education, go to community college, and just, like, try to find yourself. Find what you want to do. What do you like? I think that, and then also, one of my biggest regrets is just not doing what I wanted to do off the bat. Because, like, now, it's great because now, like, I have a career, and I can buy stuff. Like, I feel like I'm living my childhood right now because, like, I'm doing all the things that I couldn't do as a kid. And I'm also doing the things that I want to do that I wish I could have done during college. Like, I wish I could have finished my stage manager degree and worked as a stage manager. Or, like, I wish I could have done more theater. Like, I wish that was, like, my full time. And now I'm in a place where I can do that by myself, like, self-reliant, and I can still pay my bills and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going back to school for, like, my theater degree now, my master's. And so, like, I can do that myself. However, I'm, like, 31. And I know that doesn't seem, like, old, but it is for me. And it's, like, I could have been doing that when I was 21, you know? So, like, I just feel like I didn't waste the time, but I could have used the time differently. If you know this is what you want to do, and, like, don't let people tell you, like, oh, you're not going to make money, or you're not going to do this or that. It's going to, like, you're going to fail. Because, yeah, you can fail. Like, that's I'm not going to tell you, like, oh, no, you're going to be great. Yeah. Like, everything's going to be... Everything's gonna be fine. It's all gonna work out. Because no, like, that's not realistic. That's not life. You know, we're gonna fail sometimes, and the things that we love, we may fail at, and that's fine. But then you have to be able to, like, keep going. Like, if you fail at okay, great, I tried it, it didn't work out, it wasn't for me, or I wasn't able to do this, blah blah blah. Okay, I'm gonna move on. And just keep going. So I don't know, I just, like, I really regret being so afraid to try things because of what people told me, and, like, making that kind of, like, my fixed mindset versus, like, I'm gonna do it. If I fail, if I go hungry, if I do this, blah blah blah, okay, great, then I'm gonna move on to the next thing. At least I'm not wondering, because I'm still wondering now. 10 years later, I'm still wondering, what if? And I think life is too short to have those what ifs. Thank you. Sorry, I, like, talked
No, this is the point.
Oh my gosh, this is my first time, so I'm like,
really?
Holy crap.
She's a professional. So, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
If you guys have any questions or anything that you'd like advice on, please write them in the comments, and we'll do our best to answer or figure out a solution to your problem. Don't forget to subscribe or follow or like this video or podcast or audio wherever you're listening to this, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.